In this video, we are going to learn how to make a multi-touch platformer game. In this game, we will have some buttons which are typically present in a platformer game, and we will control these with multi-touch. And we have different scenes also. We have a pause scene where the game is paused, and we also have a game over scene where the game will be game over, right? And we will do all that with multi-touch. So let me first show you what we will be doing. This is some game which we will be making, and you can see that I have several controls, I mean three controls, but I can touch them at the same time, right? And there is no disturbance, that is, I can simultaneously jump and move around, and you cannot do that regularly. I mean, if you use default controls or you control using mouse, you can press on the pause button and come back also, and you can again, if you touch the spike, it will be game over. So let me touch the spike now, so that you can see that, yeah, game over. Now you can press the back button to go back to the game. So yeah, that's what we will be making in this video. So I hope you saw what we are going to make in this video. So now let me tell you the setup of my file. It looks like a lot of things are here, but it is not very difficult. Let me show you what is present. So first of all, go to Project Manager, Game Settings, Properties, and my resolution is 1280 cross 720, and I have done no changes to the game size, and my minimum FPS is 30, and my device orientation is landscape, and rest of the things are at default. Now global variables, I have no global variables. And now let's go to scenes. New scene 2, and new scene 3. New scene is actually the game, new scene 2 is the pause menu, and new scene 3 is the game over. So in properties it looks like this. All three of them looks like this, right? Right. And variables, I have no variables anywhere. No variables here also. No variables, right? Okay, so that's about the scenes. Now before coming to the objects, let me show you my layers. I have two layers instead of one. So go to layer editor, and you can see here I have an HUD layer which I have made myself, and this is the base layer. At the very bottom you can see the background color layer, but that is an inactive layer, you can ignore that one. We basically have two layers with which we can interact. So HUD and base layer, right? I will tell you which objects are in HUD and which objects are in base layer, so don't worry about that. Now let's come to the objects, you know, list. First of all, I have a background. This is simply a white colored background which I have used. It is this huge background. I have made it in Pascal. It is 32 cross 32, but I simply expanded it. It does not have any behavior, right, as you can see. Now character, this is my character, this box, and this is again a simple sprite of, I think, 64 cross 64, but it has a behavior of platformer character. As you can see that these settings are of a platformer character. And here the important thing is I have unchecked this. You should also uncheck this default controls. This is very important. Now in the platform, these are the platforms, that is this. You can see this thing and this floor and this wall. These are my platform. These are all one object, and this is, and that object is this one. It is again a gray colored box, but it has a behavior. has a behavior of a platform, right? And this is how the settings look like. Now let us go to the controls. Left arrow. Left arrow is simply a left arrow sprite. It has no behavior. Right arrow is again a right arrow sprite with no behavior, right? And jump is simply a jump sprite, a button sprite with again no behavior. That's how it looks like. And this is a spike which I just made to, you know, emulate the game over scenario. So you don't have to worry about this too much. This is a simple sprite with no behavior again. So yeah, pause button is simply a text field and size is 40. It's bold, black in color, and it says pause. And touch position. This is special. You can see that this is italics and it is in bold also. So this means that this is a global object. So this touch position is present here also and here also in all the scenes. In all the scenes my touch position object is present, right? That's how it is. And now let us see what else we have in touch position. It is a simple sprite, but it's transparent, right? It has no sprite in it, and the behavior is also empty, but we have a variable in touch position. Go to these three dots and go to edit object variables, and you can see that I have a touch id variable in my object, right? It is empty by default. So that's my setup. Now let me show you my code, which is very important again. So you can see there is a lot of code, but the important thing is everything. So let us start learning the code from the beginning. This is the multi-touch code. It works with multi-touch, so it may be a little bit difficult to understand, but we will uh, move along very slowly. Now this is my first event. What is the condition? A new touch has started. So where will you find this condition? You can find it in mouse and touch, multi-touch, and a new touch has started, right? And you can see this screen and they will say something here. So that's how you can find this. So this will check if a new touch has started. So what is the action which will happen? First action is create a touch position object at position 00. Where will you find this? You can find it in common action for all objects, and click on create an object. You will see this screen, and then now you can select touch position as your object to create, x position as 0, y position as 0, and layer. Layer you have to select HUD layer. You can call this layer whatever, but this is the layer where your controls are present, right? You can call it the control layer, but you should be very specific about it. You know, this should be the layer where your controls are present: left, right, mouse, left, right, jump, pause button, menu buttons, right? That's very important. And the second action is modify a variable of an object. Where will you find it? You will not find it in variables. You will find it here. Common actions for all objects, variables. And here you can find modify a variable of an object. Here you can select the object. I have chosen touch position and the variable is touch id. So you know that we have a variable called touch id inside touch position, right? So that's how we can access it. If you choose some other object, then you will not find that variable. Suppose I choose background, then there is no variable in background, right? I cannot see anything here. But if I choose touch position, then if I click on variable field, I can see one variable here. So that's what we have chosen. modification sign is equal, and value is last touch ID. So how do you get this value? This is the touch ID of the last touch, right? I mean the touch which just started. So how do you find it? Go to 123 and go to multi-touch, and here is the identifier of the last touch. So that's how you can find it. I have one of it before, so yeah, that's okay. Now this is my first event. Now my second event is this whole thing, right? You can see the box. So what is this event doing? First of all, it is a while loop. While loop can be accessed from here. You can click on this plus, you can click on while, and you will have this box, right? So while these conditions are true, which conditions? This condition. So I have only one condition here. This whole thing is just one box, right? These are not two boxes, these are one box. There is no boundary here. So I have one condition, which is a touch has ended. So where can you find it? You can find it in mouse and touch, multi-touch, a touch has ended. And you will see this screen, they will say something here, and just add this condition. And in this while loop we have one more section which is called repeat these. So what is this means is that while this condition is true, you have to repeat these actions. What actions? The actions present in this box, this whole box, the second box. You can see this box has two parts. One part is a condition, one part is an action, and you can add many actions and you can add many conditions also, but that's what will repeat. The box below the words repeat these will repeat. What will happen? The variable touch ID of touch position is equal to last ended touch ID. So if the variable touch ID of whatever touch position object will be equal to last ended touch ID, then we will simply access that touch position object. Well, it can be a little bit difficult to understand, but where will you find this? You will find it in common conditions for all objects, variables, structures, and value of an object's variable. I think not inside structures, yeah. It's inside common conditions for all objects, variables, and then simply this, not structure. Structure is something else. Right, value of an object's variable. So yeah, that's how you can find it. Object is touch position, variable is touch ID, and sign should be equal, and value to compare. Which value do we want to compare? We want to compare last ended touch ID, because then if the touch ID touch has ended, we will also have to delete the touch position object, right? So we want to access this object, right, whose touch ID is equal to the last ended touch ID. So how do you find this function? You can go to 123 multi-touch and identifier of the last ended touch. So that's how you can find that, right? And now what will it do? It will simply delete the touch position object, whichever whose value is equal to the last ended touch ID, right? And you can find this action here, common actions for all objects and delete an object, and then simply select touch position to delete, right? So that's what we are doing here. We are deleting the touch position whose touch has ended. Now this event, what is this event doing? Repeat for each instance of touch position. So what does it mean by each instance? We only have, you can see only one instance here. So what about each instance? The thing is that if we touch with two fingers, we will have two instances of touch position, as is evident by our this event. This event creates touch position objects every time we start a new touch. So we can have many touch positions, right? We can have as many touch positions as many fingers you put on your phone screen. So that's why we are running the actions in this event for every instance of the touch position object. And what are we doing? We are simply changing the position of the touch position object to the position of the finger, right? To the position of the finger whose touch actually created that object. Here you can see we are creating the touch position object at position 0 0, but here we will update its position to the position actual position of the finger. So where will you find this? You will find this in common actions for all objects, position and x position of an object. Object is touch position, modification sign is equal to, and value is touch x, touch position dot variable touch id. And this simply gives you the touch position of the finger whose touch id you have supplied. So how do we find this function? This looks like a huge function. Where can you find it? You can find it here. Go to 1 2 3. See, what we need here is the x position of our finger. Which finger? The finger whose touch id is equal to the touch id which is present in our touch position, right? I want the x position of that finger only. So how do we get that? Let me go to 1 2 3 and multi-touch and touch x position. See, it is here. Click on it and touch identifier. So what is the identifier? Touch identifier means touch id. So let's find the id. We know that our touch ids are stored in our touch position objects. So now let me go to 1 2 3 again, common expressions for all objects, and go to variables and go to objects variable and select object as touch position and variable as touch id. Click on apply. Layer. Now this layer is important. You have to put it on HUD layer. When you are working with multi-touch and you have controls like we do, put your multi-touch on the control layer, HUD layer, and make the control layer separate from your base layer. Very important, like we did in our video, like we are doing right now, right? In the camera you can leave blank, apply. So that's how you can get this function. I already have it, so I will delete this, but I was just showing you how you can get it, right? So that's how you can get it. Similarly do for y position, but instead of doing it both the times for x and y, you can simply go here, common actions for all objects, and simply go for position of an object. So you can do that also, it is perfectly fine, but I did it twice, which I mean it works the same way, but you know you can do it in one action only if you want. So now let's go to our this event. So this event has 4 sub events inside it, right? As you can see, what is this? This is again repeat for each instance of touch position. This is the same as this one. So why did I write it 2 times? Well, I just wanted to separate these 2 actions. This action is to change the touch position according to the finger, and these actions are for controlling our character, and also for detecting whether we pressed on the pause button or not. So I just wanted to separate these two, although you can put them together, but I just wanted to make it clear, that's why I separated them. You don't have to separate them. So now repeat for each instance of touch position. What will we repeat? We will repeat all these, whatever is below this box will be repeated. These are sub events. How can you make sub events? You can click on one event and click on this, add a sub event, and that's how you can create a new sub event. But I don't need another one, so I will delete it. What are our sub events? So these events are running for every instance of touch position. So no matter which instance of touch position touches our objects, we will be able to detect that, right? So that's what we are doing in these actions, these conditions. Let me open one of them. What is this? This is checking collision. Where will you find it? You will find it here, common conditions for all objects, collision and collision. And you can see this is screen, and here our object is touch position, one object is touch position and the other object is my left arrow. And ignore objects that are touching each other on their edges but are not overlapping. Default no. I have kept it yes. I have done the same thing in all three. I have done it once for left arrow, once for right arrow, once for jump, and once for my pause button. Right? And what actions I have done here? For left arrow, I am simulating pressing left for character. So where will you find this? This is only applicable to platform characters. You will find it here all the way to platform behavior and then uh, controls controls, and then you can go for this one, simulate left key press. When you click here you will find this screen, and here you can choose your platformer character. I have chosen my character, right? And similarly I have done this for right key and for jump key as well. When I will press on the left arrow, my left it the game will simulate pressing left key for my character, and similarly for right arrow, similarly for jump. For pause button, I am simply changing the scene. I am pause and start a new scene, pausing and starting a new scene. How will you find this? You can find it here in scene, pause and start a new scene, and when you click on it, you can see this screen. And here you can select the scene to which you want to go after pausing the current one. I wanted to go to a new scene too, so I selected that. Right, so that's how my pause button is working, and that's how my left and right buttons are working. That's how my jump is working. Right, and now for the spike, I have checked whether my character is in collision with the spike or not. You can find the collision here as we told earlier. Two objects are, one is character, one is spike, and if character touches spike, a game over event will happen. We will simply change the scene to the game over scene. Nothing special in this event. And this event is small but very significant, extremely important. Let me open it. This is simply the movement of the camera. So where will you find this? You can find it here in layers and cameras. Center the camera on an object, and when you click on it you can see this screen. Right, my object is my player character, my platformer character, and layer is base layer. Right, you should not choose HUD here. You should not choose I have HUD, but I will choose base only. So that's very important, extremely important. Keep that in mind, right? Because it is very important for platform games, because your game will be not be limited to this area. Your game will not be limited to the only the screen. You will make your game so much bigger. Maybe this is your stage and there are there is something else here, like you have a big stage. Then then you will have to make the camera follow the character, and if that happens, your controls will get left behind if they are on the same layer as the character. Right, so that's why we have put these four things on HUD layer. That's extremely important. Remember that. Right, do not forget it. It's extremely important. I can't undo it. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, so okay, let me delete it, otherwise you can be confused by it. Yes. Okay, so this is okay. That's my events, all the events. I hope you have understood them. But now let's go to one of the menu. I mean, one of these scenes, these ones, and see what have we done there. Again, in this one and the game over scene are similar. In this one it says game pause, and in this one it says game over. That's the only difference. So let that be clear. So in new scene 2, that is my pause scene, game pause scene, I have these events. So as you can see, these three events, 1, 2 and 3 are exactly the same events which we discussed here. That is 1, 2, 3. These 3 events are the same as here, right? So it's the same logic. And in new scene 2, we have only one layer, base layer. We should ignore the background layer. You should only focus on base layer because that's the only layer which we can interact with other than the layers which we create ourselves. We only have one layer, base layer, and we have put everything there. So my back button is here, it's a back button, its pause menu text is there, background is there, and nothing fancy, right? And these 3 events are the same as here, but you can see one extra event which is this one, and this is again the same event which we have put here in order to detect collision with stress position, right? We have to do that because we cannot detect collision with our multiple fingers, so we are detecting it with our touch position, object. So here also we are doing the same thing, but we are simply checking the collision with my back button because that's the only button here. So I'm just checking the collision with that. And so when the collision is there, then I will simply stop the scene and go back to the previous paused one. You will find the collision here as we discussed before, and one object is touch position, another object is back button, and that's it. And here you can find this at in scene and stop and go back to previous scene because we have a previously paused scene here. This is the pause screen, so we come here after pausing a previous scene, so we can do this action, stop the scene and go back to the previously paused one. So that's what's happening, and the only difference between this and this is that here I have simply changed the scene to new scene. Here I have stopped the scene and go back to the previously paused one, and here I have simply changed the scene. That's the only difference between these two, right? And multi-touch is working. We are using multi-touch, we are not using mouse touch or single touch, right? Multi-touch here also, and multi-touch here also, of course. So that's how you can use multi-touch to simulate controls for your platformer games. And you can increase your stage. Your stage can be very big and your camera will follow you around, and your controls will also be visible. So I have verified that also. I have not made it here, but you can increase your stage further and check if that's working. It is working, but let me tell you that you can do it too. I mean, increase the stage size, it will work regardless of your stage size. So yeah, and that's how you can make your multi-touch work in menus also, right? And that's how you can do it. So yeah, I will put these files on GitHub so you can download them and use these code use this code in your own project if you want to, and learn more about this uh, this project. So thank you for watching. If you have any more questions regarding this project or something else, then you can put your questions in the comment section, and I will try to help you out. Thank you for watching.